Hello, dear friends and subscribers. This is your host Ram with you. This on 18th of March on Saturday with the cricket happening show as usual. Uh, well, we had a very eventful last week, so I will just touch base upon where I left off the other day. As you would remember, I was talking about the New Zealand versus Sri Lanka, the first Test match, which basically, uh, the day it was a sort of a very enticing day that was in prospect, but unfortunately, rain played spoiled sport, and the first 1.5 sessions of the match was totally washed out. And one thought that probably this particular first Test match would be ending in a draw, and suddenly with 200 and I think it was, if I'm not wrong, it was 257 runs to win, but it was 52 overs to in which to get it. And we saw, I mean, Kane Williamson was definitely the key, as I told you, and what an innings from him. I mean, he was there till the end. And what a match we had. I mean, as far as test matches are concerned, we are talking about test matches going away, the crowds not coming in. But what we are seeing, a sort of a revival. Maybe the first thanks should go to the baseball cricket, which has been played by Brendan McCullum and his boys, Brent Stokes of England, who brought the baseball cricket, and they have really given a sort of a different dimension to Test cricket, where they have not only made Test cricket very entertaining, and they have got everything going. And we saw that match which was enacted between England and New Zealand, where New Zealand, managed to win that final Test match. So similarly, there was one more exciting test match this happened, and it was all thanks to, I mean, it was a combination. Tom Latham, Kane Williamson was there till the end, nurturing the innings, and what a match we had. Asita Fernando with the ball in the final over, having a final fling, and Kane Williamson just haired in with 1 run required. There could have been heavy drama. The wicketkeeper actually not collecting it cleanly, throwing the ball, but Kane Williamson, the New Zealand captain, absolutely sprawling on the towards the non-striker's end and grounding his bat and getting home to bring a historic victory for for New Zealand. And I mean, the way it was like excitement was at fever pitch, and who would have thought that this match would actually end up like this? But it was the calculation that was done by New Zealand, saying that they have 52 overs, 257 to make. So basically, it was the run rate that they required, and Kane Williamson, the chief architect of that win. What a victory for Kane Williamson! And 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 also, if you look at Asita Fernando, I think he was the best bowler for Sri Lanka against New Zealand in the first test. He's a bowler. He's very short. One was probably thinking that I mean, I mean, for a pace bowler, he does not have a lot of height, but he generates. I mean, quite some pace, one could call. But what is good about him is that he has a mean bouncer and he has a very lethal Yorker, and that is the thing which really had the New Zealand batsman really thinking, one could call. But nevertheless, I think Asita Fernando is someone who is a great prospect for Sri Lankan cricket. I mean, as a pace bowler, he definitely has the weapons in his armory, but probably the height is something that he needs. But probably that is one thing. But he definitely makes it up by really, hitting the ball hard on the deck, and besides generating some movement as well. And this has been, as Angelo Matthews was another one who actually got a century in this particular match. The match could have been anybody's. It could have been probably Sri Lanka going and winning against New Zealand, but this was something which was really spine-chilling stuff, as one could call it. And Also, Asita Fernando well, took 4 wickets, and Kane Williamson, definitely the man of the match. But another thing that I wanted to really highlight here is that I think this is the best Sri Lankan pace bowling attack which is in business right now. And as also Angela Matthews said after the match, that this was, and this is the first time that the Sri Lankan bowling has really given a sort of headache to the New Zealand batsmen. I mean, coming from different climate, yes, they definitely practiced in Sri Lanka. They went into something, a sort of a simulation, one could call, but where they actually had a stereotype of what they would be getting in New Zealand, which now all the cricket countries started doing. As you know, Australia actually did it to combat the Indian spinners, and they were, one could see the results as to how successful they were. So that is something that is happening in cricket now, because what the cricket nations are looking at is to see, like, okay, we are going to another country. It's going to take time for us to actually get adjust to the climbs and the paciness or the bounciness or whatever the turning tracks over there, and we are seeing that these things are happening now. It's really good to see. There's some real innovation coming into Test cricket now, according to me, after looking at these things. But what a match we had, and Sri Lanka losing that particular match. I'm sure Sri Lankans were gutted there. And also, this is not something which is at over. Now we are talking about the second Test match, which is underway, and this was a track in at the. I mean, looking at it, was a greenish pitch. The match didn't start on time. It was raining, and one thought that probably this is going to be another nice greenish pitch. But the problem was that in Wellington, even though the Sri Lankans won the toss, which was good to, it was a good toss to win. I mean, to get into a one thought they had the initiative, but the problem over there was that the wind was so, it was extremely windy in Basin Reserve, and that really made very difficult for the New Zealand bowlers to, so the Sri Lankan bowlers to handle it. So they could not get their line right, and that really helped the New Zealand batsmen, and they went away. So let's have a look at what really panned out there. And again, Kane Williamson, who has he just finished the first Test match with that exciting single that he took. But he's not yet finished, because he has gone on to a double century. He made 215 with 23 fours and 2 sixes, and he was involved in a record third wicket partnership with Henry Nichols, who always, when he hits a century, plays big. And this is the first double century, maiden double century for Henry Nichols, who already, he's the one, according to me, who has taken that spot of Ross Taylor, and what a knock from him. I mean, and feel sorry for the Sri Lankans, that even though they won the toss, they could not take the initiative. Windy, very difficult to bowl. But look at the New Zealand card there. They declared the innings closed at 580 for 4. Contributions from Devon Conway at the top with 78. Kane Williamson making 215, 23 fours and 2 sixes. And he's the highest run getter in Test matches now, Kane Williamson. We all know his class, no doubt about it. And Henry Nichols, as I said, whenever he gets a century, there are not small hundreds, they are big hundreds. And here he goes to a much bigger one, which is a maiden double century. And 363 run stand, which is a record stand that New Zealand put against Sri Lanka for the second wicket. Mitchell made 17, and then it was finally. And if you look at the bowling, well, does not make any happy reading. Lairu Kumara, and also Kane Williamson. Normally, one does not see Kane Williamson get into such aggression, but he hit 2 consecutive sixes of the bowling of the pacer Lairu Kumara when he hooked him for 2 successive sixes, which was done wonderfully well by Kane Williamson. 580 for 4, as I said, and the bowling was the bowling was nothing really to talk about. It was a real hard grind for the bowlers. I'm not really getting into the bowling, other than telling that Rai Kumara leaked 164 runs of his 28 overs, 25 overs with no wicket to show besides his name. And Sri Lanka, in their reply, were 26 for 2 at close of play on the second day, and now life has become very very difficult for them, with Matt Henry striking with the first ball of his, not the first ball, I would say probably the second over. The first over was bowled by Tim Southey, so with his first ball of the second over, or his first over, he got the edge of Oshara Fernando's bat, as Fernando made the cardinal error of actually defending the ball away from his body, and the ball took the neck, and Oshara Fernando was a goner. Caught Blundell bowl Henry for six. After that, we had Kushal Mendes, the one who played a major role in the first Test match, was a goner pretty soon. And this was Doug Bracewell, who was in the team today. He actually picked up the wicket of Kushal Mendes, and New Zealand would have been very happy that they saw the back of Kushal Mendes pretty quickly, as he was basically tested, and this one was short and wide by Bracewell, and Conway at point, leaping to his left, gobbling it up. Prabhat Jayasuriya, the night watchman, was not out for his captain. Damit Karunaratne is not out on 16, as the day closed for the Sri Lankans at 26 for 2. They have a mighty job on hand. I mean, they are trailing by 554 runs currently. The first goal for Sri Lanka will be to avoid the follow on by getting 380 on the board. Not going to, I mean, looking at the pitch is definitely getting a bit easy, as New Zealand showed, but it is a matter of how the Sri Lankans really get on with the business. But the batting, yes, Angelo Matthews last time scoring a century would give them the confidence. He's the one next to his slotted in, with Dinesh Chandimal and Dhananjay Silva still to come. Nishan Madhushka is making his debut as well. So batting, there's still some batting to come, but definitely it's going to be a very very hard time for Sri Lanka going into the third day. So that is the match report as far as that particular match is concerned. And also on the week we saw the India-Australia test match finally ending, and the final test ending in a draw, India retaining the Border Gavaskar Trophy. And because the Sri Lankans lost against New Zealand, it made it much easier for India, as India reached the finals of the World Test Championship for the second time, and they meet Australia there. But Australia losing the Border Gavaskar Trophy series. But just talking about Australia, I think Australians should be given great credit to come here, and this is the first ever team which has really, really knocked the stuffing out of the Indian batsmen when it comes to spin, because Indians are born and bred on spin, and the Aussies coming there and giving a dose of their own medicine was simply a marvelous job done by the Aussie spinners. One has to say the Australian selectors really went on and gambled on bringing Tony Murphy here, who had done well, not even played any match. He was just played really some domestic matches, and they brought him in, and that too to trust him and bring him against India. And what a marvelous job he did. I mean, he probably took 7 wickets on his debut, but after that, one thought he petered out. But let me tell you, he was the one who actually was, as you know, the bowlers, as we always say in cricket, hunt in pairs. We talk about pace bowling where bowlers hunt in pairs. Even in spin, if you look at it, the spinners hunt in pairs as well. And I think Nathan Lyon, yes, the veteran, did a marvelous job, no doubt, picking 8 wickets, his best haul of his Test career. But one thing that one has to note here is Tony Murphy played a good role, according to me, because Tony Murphy, basically because of the way he was bowling, he had Nathan Lyon picking up the wickets, and Matthew Kunman was also quite impressive. And Matthew Kunman was so impressed that he basically he has a hero in none other than Ravindra Jadeja, who did a marvelous job for India. He actually took tips from him, I am told. That's really good to see the camaraderie between both the teams, the friendship. As you know, it's a 75 years of friendship between India and Australian cricket, and that was absolutely good to see. And for Australia, well, they have gone with a lot of positives, no doubt about it. And now the focus has already shifted. The first ODI of the series has already been played. In the meanwhile, I'm just going to give you a slight update. The slight update is that we are talking about the second ODI, which is happening in East London right now, where the South Africans are needing another 52 runs. West Indians making 335 for 8. It was the West Indian captain, Shai Hope, who was making his captaincy debut today. What a start for him as far as his captaincy is concerned. He went on to make, I'm just going to give you the score here. As far as Shai Hope is concerned, the West Indian making 335 in the first ODI against South Africa, with Shai Hope contributing an unbeaten 128 5 fours and 7 sixes. And he was the one who really was the sort of the bulwark behind the West Indian South African West Indian innings of 335 for 8. Well done, Shai Hope. And right now, as I'm talking to you, it's a live cricket update. South Africans are chasing 336. They're currently 284 for 8. Bavuma, their captain, is still at the crease. And he is going really big. He's not out 143, 11 fours and 7 sixes. He's playing something that Shai Hope played, and he has to do much more to get them over the line. 52 runs still required. He has Lungi Gidi for company, who's doing well, not out on 10, and only Tabrai Shamsi still in the hut. So there's a lot of things to go. 52 runs in 58 balls is a possibility. It's only a matter of Temba Bavuma getting some support from the other end. But if he gets that, I think the South Africans will go over the line here. But well done, West Indies. But very quickly, let's just jump on, because I know I have to talk about the first ODI between Australia and India. But let's jump on to the first ODI at Sylhet, Ireland tour of Bangladesh, and Bangladesh Ireland. Bangladesh winning the first ODI by 183 runs, a massive margin at that. They got into two records today. One is they had the highest ever score in ODI format of 338 for 8, and also Bangladesh won by huge margin, 183, and this is the highest margin of victory that by runs that Bangladesh have had over any other team in the ODI format. So well done, Bangladesh. And this 338 for 8 that they hit against Ireland in the first ODI, 50 overs, was built mainly by Shakib Al Hassan, the captain. Shakib, not the captain, Shakib Al Hassan, who contributed 93 with 9 fours. We've all run a big stand with the youngster Tawhid Radai, who actually made his ODI debut, and what a debut for him. Is the first player who got the highest score by a Bangladeshi player on ODI debut. His contribution being a valuable 92 of 85 deliveries, 8 fours and 2 sixes. And he played some wonderful shots. He has been doing well in the domestic. And Bangladesh, one has to really appreciate that Bangladesh, what they have done is they are catching the Bangladesh youngsters right at the roots, and that's a good way to do it. They have seen that they have been in some prolific form in the BPL, the Bangladesh Premier League, and they have pitchforked them into the international arena. And what a wonderful exhibition of batting from this youngster from Bangladesh. 92 85 deliveries, 8 fours, 2 sixes, getting the man of the match award. 44 from Mushfiqur Rahim, who clubbed 2044 of 26 balls with 3 fours and 3 sixes. And Shakib Al Hassan smashing Harry Tector for 5 fours in a single over. And for the Irish bowlers, it was Graham Hume who was the most successful bowler. He had figures of 4 for 60, his best returns in one-day cricket. And other than that, 1 wicket mark a day. I'm not going into those details, as Ireland folded up of 155. They had only players like Stephen Doheny making 34 with 4 fours and 1 6. I believe Stephen Doheny made 34. Then we had 22 from Paul Sterling, the experienced bloke. And then we had the highest scorer being George Dockrell, was there till the end, 45 47, 6 fours in that knock by George Dockrell. And as far as the bowling was concerned, it was Nasum Ahmed, 343, 215 for Taskin, 1 for 23, and 4 for 42. Abadat Hussain returning best bowling figures in ODI cricket, 4 for 42, and Bangladesh winning the match by 183 runs. And also India versus Australia, the first ODI. India winning the match very comfortably, but not before they had a bit of a stutter. But for Australia, It was very tough for them. They were bowled out for 188. Mitchell Marsh smashing 80 odd runs in pretty quick time. But Mohammad Shami amongst the wickets with three, which supported by Mohammad Siraj. But as far as the Indians are concerned, Indians were put in a real tight spot by the Aussie bowlers, especially Mitchell Stark and Kyle Abbott, with four wickets already into the pavilion for not much runs, for 80 odd runs. And then it was the handiwork of KL Rahul, who came there. A lot of questions were asked about KL Rahul, but the team management, Indian team management, trusting KL Rahul, and he totally reposed the faith that the Indian team management had by contributing a very, very winning knock of 76. He combined with Hardik Pandya, the captain, making 20, who made 25 odd runs. But it was Ravindra Jadeja with his all-round batting performance. After taking two wickets, he came in and contributed a very useful 41, combining into the winning stand with KL Rahul and taking India home. So that was well done, and India have finally winning it comfortably. So India have taken a 1-0 lead in the ODI series. Well, dear fans and subscribers, just before I go, let's go live to East London in South Africa and see what's going on. Well, I do see the equation now says, well, I can tell you that the South Africans have just lost one wicket, and that is a big, big blow for them. Now, I'm going to change my stance here, as Temba Bavuma, the South African captain, has been dismissed. He's gone. He's been caught by his counterpart, this West Indian captain, Shai Hope. And it is very dejected walk by Temba Bavuma. He knows that he has dropped the ball there. Temba Bavuma gone, caught Hope, bowled Joseph for 144. He got 11 fours and 7 sixes. And currently, the South Africans are 287 for 9. They need 49 runs in 52 balls. This is going to be a tall order, according to me, because they are going to be the number 10 and 11 batsmen at the crease. Lungi Giri, as I said, looking good, not out on 12, and Tabrai Shamsi in the middle. And I think it might be curtains for the South Africans. So I think Temba Bauma's presence was very important, but unfortunately it's not to be. And now it's left to Lungi Giri and Tabrai Shamsi to pilot the South Africans home, and I think it's going to be a very tall order. 49 runs in 51 balls required, and I think it's going to be very, very tough. So now I'm putting my money on the West Indies, that West Indies probably are going to win the first ODI in South Africa. But good luck to South Africa, to Giri and Shamsi, to pull a rabbit out of the hat here. Well, dear fans, friends, and subscribers, an absolute pleasure bringing you this cricket show. And looking forward to your company tomorrow. That's on a Sunday, when I'll be talking about this game between the outcome of the South Africa-West Indies game. Till such time, and we also have the India-Australia second ODI coming up tomorrow on a Sunday, and I'll be waxing eloquent on that as well. Till such time we all meet, it's time to say goodbye on this cricket show. Thank you.